Hi Autumns. Today I'll explain different horror challenges. Floor 74. I did some research on it and found this.
Or 74 or F70 for trend. So F70 for trend is very dangerous. This is how to do the trend if you want to. So first write F70 for on your wrist. Now keep it there and sleep. Once you wake up, you will be in a red hallway. There will be a lot of doors. You have to find the door with no number. The deadline is after 10H. But if it was past 10H and you didn't find the door without a number yet, there is a 100% chance that someone will follow you the whole time. But if you look back, there's also a chance that you will teleport in a white room. If you got teleported there, you're trapped. So you need to bang the wall really hard in order to get out. After doing it, you will get teleported in a room that looks like your room but with no door and window. And this time you need to bang the wall really, really hard. Then there's a chance you will wake up in reality. That's all. Bye.
So this is so obviously fake. Moving on to Charlie Charlie. I did this once in class with classmates. I did some research on it and found this.
This simple pencil game is said to summon something, and people believe it's not just a game, because once you start, you're supposed to finish it. In 2015, the game Charlie Charlie blew up, and the idea behind it actually comes from an older Spanish game. It's based on something called Juego de Lapicera, or the game of pens. This has been played for generations in Spanish-speaking countries, but at one point, people started to believe you could use this to contact something on the other side. And that's where Charlie comes in. Depending on who you ask, Charlie could be a vengeful spirit of a young boy, or it could be something darker pretending to be one. Some versions say that Charlie was bullied and he took his own life, while others say that he died in a tragic accident. But in every version, Charlie blames humans for what happened to him, and he's not friendly. To play this game, all you'll need is a piece of paper and 2 pencils. You're going to draw a cross and write yes and no, and balance the pencils on top of each other. Then you'll ask, Charlie, Charlie, are you there? And if the pencil moves, that means that something answered. People claim that the pencils would move on their own without anybody touching them, but it wouldn't stop there. Because you're supposed to say goodbye before ending the game. And if you don't, people believe it doesn't leave. This simple pencil game is said to summon something, and people believe it's not just a game, because once you start, you're supposed to finish it. In 2015, the game Charlie Charlie blew up, and the idea behind it actually comes from an older Spanish game.
When I did it in class with my classmates, we had done it and someone just blew the pencils. I also found this.
Charlie, you're not here. This isn't Charlie, okay? Is this Billy L? Is this Billy L? Is this the doll? The thing that is trapped in the doll, which is Billy L. So it's not Billy L either. Are you a spirit or a demon? No. Yes or no question. Should I put the pencils back or should I just leave it? How is this played normally? Why people keep saying it's Doja? Freddy. Is this Freddy? Oh my God. Freddy. How do I know you're telling the truth? Give me a sign. How do I know you're not some demon trying to trick me, deceive me? Is this really Freddy? Do you want to play a game? Nothing. Are the pencils balanced, guys? Does it look balanced? Does it look... Ah! I swear to God, something ran past. Something ran past the door. Something ran past. I'm not scared. I have my protection prayer. Tap the screen and share the live, guys. This is getting out of hand right now. Where are you? You're somewhere in my room. You ran in my room. Where are you? Ah!
Anyways, this footage is from Atlante_scary_lives. Shout out to him for the footage. Moving on to Banana and Sprite. Sprite makes me want to drink Sprite, lol. I don't know much, but I did some research and found this.
I gotta let it go, y'all. I can't do it no more.
What did I just watch? Well, I also found this.
And final banana down the hatch. You know what? I'm feeling kind of thirsty right now. And I think I'm just gonna chug this 2 liter of Sprite, so. About half the 2 liter gone. Oh. I think I need to stand up for a moment. Oh, God. Whoa!
Didn't show the rest cause I would get banned. Not very informative, but it works. Moving on to the yes/no challenge. I did some research and found this.
The Can You Hide game? We've all heard of Bloody Mary, Charlie Charlie, and those games are scary, but they're nothing compared to the Can You Hide game. It's not something you can find on the App Store or the Google Play Store. There's nothing about the game on any public websites except this cautionary post. It doesn't matter if you're a good or a bad person, it chooses its targets randomly. No matter how hard you try, you can't avoid the game. Nobody can. First, you're gonna hear a ding on your phone, and then a window might pop up. All it will say is, can you hide? Yes or no. Make sure you pick no. When it first appeared on my phone screen, I was shocked. I thought it was like some sort of virus. And there's no option to close the window. There's only yes and no. I didn't want to infect my phone, so I decided to do some research first. I tried to Google it, but I couldn't find anything about the yes/no game. The only thing I could find is one thread that pointed me toward a Discord server. There was an entire category for this new game that started appearing on people's phones. Clicking yes apparently starts a hide and seek game with the unknown. When I read that, I was like, I don't know what this means, so I kept reading. The first person on the thread said, "Can anybody help me? Nobody seems to know anything about this game. My friend played it nonstop for a week and then he went missing. That was 2 weeks ago. There are daily search parties, but I don't think they're gonna find him. He told me it wasn't a game. He said he saw a face outside of his window." Some people said you have to select no. Other people said it destroyed their life. Some people said the only way is to not choose anything. Just leave it on your phone forever. Someone said, what if I just turn off my phone? The last comment on the thread, it It's your funeral. Just choose yes or no. It's not that hard. I had finally decided what I was going to do. I turned my phone off and I took it a step further. I reset my phone to the factory settings. But when the weekend was over and I met up with my friends, I found out my friend Corey had been playing the Can You Hide game. I was about to tell him that he was supposed to choose no when he threw down his phone. It was already open to the game window. Apparently he'd been playing it all week. On the phone screen, there was a map with a little green marker indicating his location. Then there was a little red marker that was slowly getting closer to us. Every day, once a day, from 2 to 4 in the afternoon, Corey had to hide. It tracks your location, so you have to keep moving. I checked my watch. It was 10 minutes to 4. But Corey wasn't hiding. He was in the park with me. And the red marker also just arrived at the park. It had found Corey, and my gut told me something very bad was about to happen. Then Corey jumped up and screamed. That's a wrap. 4 o'clock again. I bested the game. But when he checked the map, it was only 100 feet away from him. I checked his phone. It read, "You avoided the creaker by 121 yards. Then I heard something that terrified me. There was a creak. I looked up from the table and looked around. Corey didn't even seem to notice the sound. I checked Corey's phone again, this time looking for the red dot on the map. It was in the forest about 100 feet away from us to the left, so I looked over there. Peering around the bark of the tree was one of the scariest things I've ever seen in my entire life. There was something looking directly at us. It was not human. It was as short as a toddler, and its head, if it had a head, was wearing this peach-colored rubber mask. Almost the tone of human flesh, but not quite. But worst of all, it was smiling at me. I told Corey, "It looks like someone is actually seeking you." I pointed at the tree. "I don't think you should play that game anymore." He looked over and didn't see anything and told me that my phasmophobia was really killing his mood. And I mean, I do have a proclivity for trembling at everyday sights and sounds. In my mind, there's always been a ghost or ghoul around the corner. Ever since my parents passed, I had been that way. But I knew I had saw that thing behind the tree. But since I have phasmophobia, it makes it very difficult for people to believe me when I think I see or hear something. My friends told me to go home and just get some rest. At this point, I was starting to think maybe I am going crazy. Maybe I'm on the verge of a psychotic break. The next day, around 5:30 in the evening, on my drive home from work, Tanya called me. She was one of my friends that was in the park the day before. I said, "I'm driving, what's up?" And then I realized she was bawling on the other end of the phone. "It's in the house," she whispered. "The game started playing, it's earlier than usual." I said, "Slow down, what's happening?" She said the game started at 6, and I think you were right. I think someone's actually seeking us. We saw a horrible face in the window, and there were creaking sounds in the house. We're hiding in the attic. I asked her if she had called the police, and she said they were on their way. It would be about 15 minutes. Then Corey told her they needed to be quiet. And then on the other side of the phone, I heard a creak. It sounded so close that I turned around to make sure that nightmarish demon wasn't in my car. At that point, I decided not to go home and to go check on them. I was only 8 minutes away from Corey's house, closer than the police, but not by much. I was still on the phone with them, and I heard Tanya whisper, "How did it even get in here? I didn't see the door open." Then Corey goes, "He's not an it. He's just a child and he needs to leave her." He didn't get to finish his sentence because Tanya interrupted him screaming, "What is that?" Corey started to beg. The screams of my two friends were deafening. I was so fixated on reaching the house that I didn't hang up the call. It was only as I pulled into Corey's driveway that I realized I had been listening to the sounds of squelching, snapping, and the most haunting of all, creaking. I barged in the front door and ran all the way up to the attic. I expected to find some sickening scene. The space was empty, and Corey and Tanya were gone. The police questioned me when they arrived, but my alibi was airtight. The call to the police was made before I had even left my office, and traffic camera footage put me too far from the scene of the crime during the call. The final verdict? Missing persons.
Winterxleven said it's fake, so I'ma say it's fake. I didn't find anything like the video said. Moving on to the coin and plug challenge. I did some research and found this.
Have never been trends PT. 1. The penny trend. This is a trend where you get an outlet and a coin and a plug that fits into the outlet. Then what you do is put the plug in halfway and hold the coin into it for a few seconds. This can cause expose 0s, ons and house F. Raise. Please do not ever try this. If you do, you're risking your life here. Please stay safe.
So I also had found this.
TikTok trends to ever exist. The penny challenge was a challenge where people would put a coin on the prongs of a phone charger as it was still plugged into an outlet. Now the point of doing this was to try and get a little shock, but in case you didn't know, that causes the outlet to explode and can set your goddamn house on fire.
Whoa, keep it family friendly, dude. Moving on to Blue Whale. I did some research and found this. No video this time. So this challenge was popular in 2014 to 2015. It started with an anonymous man asking Yipu if you wanted to play. After that there would be 50 challenges for 50 days. Isolation, carving a whale on your arm, and on day 50 suicide. This is so horrible, and someone named Rena killed herself on train tracks. Thankfully now it's gone. Moving on to the 690452 challenge. I did some research and I found this.
Would have never been trends. PT3, 690,452. This trend was when people would write the number 690,452 on their wrist and go to sleep. Then it's told you can get stuck in your dream, or a parallel universe forever. Which means if you die in your dream, your D3 add in real life too. Apparently, there is a 50-50 chance of surviving. People aren't sure how this worked, but according to the Urban Dictionary, the number is cursed or a hell number.
I also found this.
Never existed. Part 3. 690,452. So how you do this trend was that you written numbers 690,452 on your hand or wrist, and then you will go to sleep. So when you are sleeping you are exactly in a totally different universe, but it's all just a dream, just like in Coraline. Apparently, if Yowdy in the dream, you die in real life. If you get hurt in the dream, you get hurt in real life. And the thing is why is these are parallel universes that there can be characters such as fairies, elves, humans with wolf or cat ears, dragons or anything. The problem in this trend was that there was a 50-50th chance that you won't get stuck in this universe. And people actually tried it, but the scariest was that the numbers from the trend are 3L numbers.
This is just as fake as F74. Still, I wouldn't recommend doing it. Moving on to Zahediism. This is a mad dupe religion. By Autumns.